If you've ever yelled at your kids over something completely ridiculous, like the shoes or the snacks or the endless amount of questions that are thrown your way, then this particular video is for you because a lot of us do it on our parenting journey as moms. We do at times get exhausted and we snap and we get angry and we yell and then we regret it. And the regret kind of hits us like a roller coaster because we feel that once again we have failed. Once again, we've let people down. Once again, we were not the parents we said we will be. And once again, our kids had to receive all that anger and frustration. And you kind of know the underlying issue was not really them, but they are the recipients. And knowing that you're not alone and knowing that this happens to all of us doesn't really make it any better and doesn't really fix anything. So let's look at some real strategies and what we can do to become better parents and to show up with more compassion and more love and more understanding. And here's what I hear from moms most of the times. Things like, I am not actually an angry person, but since becoming a mother, I've experienced more rage that I can admit. Um, I tell myself I'm not going to yell, but then it happens and I just cannot stop myself. The anger just takes over, it's overpowering. And that anger at times doesn't match the situation, but once it starts, you can't really stop it. There's no button you can push to make everything go away and calm down. And later, all that becomes guilt. The moment rage is gone and anger disappears, you have this wave of guilt and shame and failure because of what just occurred. Why? And you might ask yourself, why can't I stay calm? Why can't I be the person that I want to be and the mother that I want to be? Maybe you've read books on parenting or you've done therapy. You are meditating, trying to stay calm and be calm as much as possible, but you kind of still fall into the same patterns. And this is where the frustration comes from the fact that you know what you're supposed to do, you know why you're angry, yet you still go down the same road. And it kind of looks like there's no way out. It will always be like this. And it doesn't have to be, because speaking from a research point of view, when your nervous system is under constant pressure and constant stress without enough time for recovery, you will be angry, you will have a lot of build-up rage, and you will snap, and that's completely valid. It's the chronic stress, it's the sleep deprivation, it's the endless demands, it's maybe the support that we do not give, very little support. It's a lot put on our shoulders, and when that's the case, it's perfectly normal to want to push everything away and not have to deal with it, because deep down your system knows this is too much, I cannot do it. However, your children will not understand that. They don't know what fight and flight is. They don't understand that your nervous system is dysregulated, that you become reactive instead of being responsive. And bottom line, it's very difficult to pause when you are at the verge of exhaustion, because the patterns that are stored in our subconscious mind. The way we are parenting is what we experienced growing up. That's when we created an idea of the world. That is when we decided that, when I'm going to grow up, I'm not going to become like this. However, this is the pattern your brain knows. It cannot create something new without removing the old. We cannot hold conflicting beliefs in our head. And The road you know is the best road and the shortest road. And unfortunately, this is what we grow up and we end up doing. We've learned to be responsive. Maybe it's from your childhood trauma. Maybe it's from years of being overwhelmed. Maybe you were all the time the peacekeeper in the family, and now you're doing the same thing, and you are not taking care of yourself and of your own needs. So how do we fix it? How do we actually become those wonderful parents we want to be? Here's the difference. Traditional therapy will not work at a subconscious level. It will tell you why, but it will not clear the way. It will not heal the old wounds. And your behavior will take a long time to change, and it will take a long time to shift. Whereas when you work with yourself and when you work at a deeper level, you're able to understand what created those patterns, what exactly happened, and then you can replace those with new ones. So it's a matter of understanding why, clearing those old beliefs and letting go and healing, and then building. You can't just write on top of an old programming. It doesn't work like that. And this is what I help my clients do. This is the kind of work I do with moms all over. I help you heal from your childhood so then you can give your children the kind of mother that you want to be. Because again, a lot of the things we've learned them in childhood, and we've learned them by witnessing other people parent. Without questioning, we accepted those things. We can read books about it, we can do courses about it, and we can try as much as possible to implement new strategies. But you and I both know it's very hard to keep a consistency and to keep showing up at the same level of compassion and love and understanding when you yourself as a child never had that modeled, never had that acceptance, and never had that support. So once you understand the full picture, you will be able to remove the things that are no longer serving you and create new patterns, new techniques, new behaviors that do serve you, that help you and empower you.